She walked into the glass-walled conference room at Storm CP. The air turned to ice the moment she stepped in. No designer bag, no heels, no flashy watch, just a quiet woman in worn flats, a ponytail, and a plain folder clutched to her chest. The HR director arched an eyebrow and muttered just loud enough to sting. She looks like she borrowed that outfit from a law stand found box. A slick-haired guy in a pinstripe suit. Another candidate chimed in. We're interviewing candidates, not collecting charity cases. Laughter rippled through the room. The panel barely glanced at her resume. Their eyes ran up and down her like she was a mistake. Someone forgot to cancel. But Nina Taylor stood still, her face steady, folder in hand. They didn't know the truth. The man who built this company from the ground up was her husband. Storm CP, the Silicon Valley fortress, loomed like a titan. 50 floors of steel and glass, a tech empire that bent the world to its frost. Will. The 40th floor interview room was a power hub-long mahogany table, wall to wall, windows framing the valley, screens humming with data. Nah stepped in, 30 years old, her dark hair loose in that ponytail, hazel eyes bright but gentle. She was beautiful grace carved into every line, but her thrift store outfit and scuffed flats marked her as an outsider. Beneath that quiet shell was a mind that could crack cold like glass and a heart that didn't bend. She had clawed through rounds of interviews for a leadership position, her nights spent refining systems that helped make Storm CP unstoppable. But they didn't see that. They saw a nobody in cheap threads. The panel sat like judges, 5 of them, in sharp suits, faces colder than the glass. Diane Brooks, the HR director, perched at the head in a sharp red blazer, her blonde bob tight and calculated. Greg Palmer, a senior executive, lounged beside her, Rolex flashing, twirling a pen in his fingers. Tyler Hensley, 28 and a legacy brat, smirked in a suit that screamed money. Laura Chen, data strategist, peered through sleek glasses with her lips drawn into a thin line. Mark Evans, operations lead, slouched with his arms crossed, buzz cut glinting under the lights. Hundreds had applied. Now it was Nah versus Tyler. But the panel's eyes said the fight was already over. Nah handed Diane her resume. Plain white paper, no frills, just her name and a trail of quiet wins. Diane smirked and slid it to Greg without looking. He scoffed and flicked it back. There's no need. The pages skittered across the table and stopped crooked in front of Nah. No relevant experience, average education, wrong major. So tell us, why exactly do you think you're a fit for this company? His tone was acid. Nah straightened, voice calm. I've spent 8 years building scalable systems. My last startup tripled its revenue with my framework. I'm here because I can solve problems Storm CP hasn't even named yet. Tyler cut in, laughing. Scalable systems? What, like a lemonade stand app? This isn't a pity. Higher, Diane added. She's delusional. Probably thinks a spreadsheet is high-tech. Laura leaned forward. What's your degree sociology? This is Storm CP, not a book club. Nah replied, it's computer science with a focus on AI ethics. I've published, but Mark barked over her. Published? We don't need homework. We need results. You're drowning here. She tried again. My last project cut processing times by... But Tyler drowned her out. Save the bedtime. Stories, kid. No one's buying. Diane didn't stop. She grabbed a marker and scrawled, loser, across Nah's resume in thick, black ink. That's your title now. Tyler hooted. Sign it, frame it, Greg clapped. She's a masterpiece of failure. Phones came out, capturing the defaced paper as Nah stood there, the ink smearing under her fingers. She didn't snap. She let the word hang, her calm a shield against their venom. The cruelty escalated. Diane tapped her pen. You're wasting our air. Did you borrow that skirt from a thrift bin? Greg chuckled. She looks like she's dressed for the flea. Market. Where's the haggling booth? Tyler leaned back. Never seen a boardroom, have you? Maybe on a sitcom. Their laughter bounced off the wall sharp, cruel, a pack closing in. Nah kept her cool. I'm here to talk qualifications, not clothes. Diane rolled her eyes. Qualifications? Honey, you don't have any we touch. Laura smirked. Try retail. Suits that vibe. Mark grinned. Yeah, stick to the bottom rung. This is the big leagues, not a charity drive. Laura escalated further. She snatched a stapler and punched holes through Na's papers. Let's shred the fairy tale. Mark laughed. Swiss cheese resume. Diane smirked. Matches her holes for brains. Nah bent to. Gather the torn papers. Hand steady despite the sting. Laura kicked them off the edge. Trash. It stays down. They kept piling on. Greg stood up. Let's spice it up. A surprise test. Logic and coding, right? Now. No laptop. Pen and paper only. Prove you're not a fraud. He shoved a thick pack of Vibrite. Twisted logic problems in her direction. Na took it without blinking. All right. She bent over it. Pen flying. Equations, loops, proofs poured out like she'd lived them. 5 minutes ticked. Tyler yawned aloud. Diane scrolled her phone. Laura muttered, she's scribbling nonsense. Nah, slid. The finished test back. Greg snatched it, skimmed a corner, then tore it in half. Bare minimum. You're not even close. Total waste. Tyler took it further. He grabbed a pitcher of water and dumped it over Na's head. The icy flood soaked her blouse and skirt. Cool off, dreamer, Greg cackled. She's a wet mess now. Laura snapped a picture. Viral gold. Water dripped from Na's face, her ponytail plastered, but she didn't flinch. She stood, calm, her strength a fire they couldn't douse. Diane grabbed her phone. Security. Now, intruder alert. Tyler laughed. Escort her out. She's a stain on the room. Mark snatched her folder and tore it to pieces. No room for fakes here, Diane cheered. Rip her. Dreams apart. Tyler threw a pen at her. Write your sob story somewhere else. The shredded bits fluttered to the floor. Na knelt to pick them up, fingers steady. Mark stomped them into the carpet. Stay down, nobody. The guards growled. Move. Dragging her to the door. Na didn't resist. Her flats were silent, her face composed. Mailroom's hiring. Tyler shouted as the door slammed. Their laughter echoed. The elevator swallowed her. Humiliated, but her spine stayed straight. Greg sealed the humiliation, yanking a trash can and dumping it over Na as the guards pulled her out. Coffee grounds and crumpled paper rained down. Here's where you belong. Laura laughed. Garbage girls complete. Diane clapped. Perfect exit for a fraud. Na shook it off her flat slipping, but she didn't break. She just walked on, hazel eyes hard, facing their cruelty like a storm. Diane leaned in as she passed, hissing, You're a joke. Go back. To flipping burgers. Greg flicked a paperclip at her. Here's your bonus. Spend it wisely. It bounced off her shoulder and clattered to the floor. Tyler stood. Waitlets, give her a send-off. He grabbed a half-full coffee cup and splashed it across her blouse. The brown stain bloomed instantly. There's your Storm CP welcome, he jeered. Laura clapped. Perfect. She's brooded. Now. Na wiped her cheek, coffee dripping but didn't flinch. She just kept walking. The guards pulling harder now. The lobby hit like a slap. Marble floors gleaming, employees buzzing. Oblivious to the woman in a stained gray blouse being marched out, the guards didn't ease up. One shoved her. Keep moving. The other tossed her folder into a bin. Don't come back, he barked as the glass door swung open. Nah. Stepped into the sunlight, her shirt soaked and resume trash, but her hazel eyes stayed clear. She'd faced worse. This wasn't about pride. It was about every soul they'd crushed before her. She pulled out her phone and called Elias. It went bad. His voice tightened. How bad? Calmly, with no tears, she told him. The coffee, the test, the guards. I'm coming, he said. Morning broke with a storm of its own. On Storm CP's executive floor, an emergency meeting was underway. No warning, no mercy. The senior heads rushed in 30 of them. Suits starched, faces tense, a live feed streaming to investors worldwide. They assumed it was a power play, promotions, raises finally their time. Diane sat up front, blazer pristine. Greg twirled his pen. Tyler lounged. Laura adjusted her glasses. Then, the doors crashed open, and the world tilted. Elias Storm strode in, tall, 42, hair graying at the edges, black suit sharp as a blade. blue eyes, cold. The Phantom CEO, feared from Shanghai to London. A billionaire who'd built Storm CP from nothing. He had been a ghost for months. Everyone stood, breath caught. Beside him walked Na. Same blouse, same flats, same calm stare, hazel eyes unflinching. Faces drained. Diane's pen snapped. Greg's twirled pen dropped. Tyler shrank. Laura's glasses fogged. Mark choked. Elias spoke, calm as thunder. Sit. They dropped like stones. I gave this team one job. Evaluate leadership candidates. Yesterday, you didn't interview a candidate. He turned. You insulted my wife. Gasps filled the room. Diane's hand shook. Greg's jaw hit the table. Tyler's chair squeaked. Elias stepped closer. Nah, and I built Storm CP from dirt. 2 broke kids, no sleep, no cash. I wired the hardware. She forged the AI. Every system you profit from her mind built it. He turned to the board. You didn't just miss a resume. You humiliated the woman I love. He pointed. Diane, Greg, Tyler, Laura, Mark. Repeat what you said. Silence. Diane stammered. 2 didn't. No dodging. Elias snapped. A tech flicked the screen on. Raw. Security footage boomed out. Diane's hiss. She looks like a student applying for a part-time job. Tyler's laugh. Janitorial services. Where's the mop? Greg's sneer. Wrong major. Laura's. Jab. Try retail. Mark's joke. Out of her depth. Greg again. Dressed for the flea market. Tyler's finale. Mailrooms hiring. The boardroom froze. Shareholders shifted. Investors glared. Diane's red blazer was now a shroud. Greg's Rolex useless. Tyler's dynasty doomed. Laura's glasses fogged. Mark's buzz cut bowed. Their jabs replayed for millions. Their careers smoking ruins. Elias didn't flinch. She solved the test perfectly. Faster than you could dream. You threw coffee. You called security. He stepped closer. Say it again. Diane whispered. I can't. Greg rasped. Mistake. Laura muttered. We didn't know. Mark croaked. Sorry. Elias leaned in. Sorry's nothing. You showed me who you are. Small. Cruel. Blind. Storm CP doesn't carry trash. He nodded to security. Take them. The same guards moved. Diane's blazer dragged. Greg's Rolex swung. Tyler's tie flopped. Laura's glasses slipped. Mark's folder ripped. The board watched. Shareholders nodded. Investors typed. Diane's smirk turned to a viral curse. Greg's name blacklisted. Tyler's empire ash. Laura's resume trash. Mark's pride wrecked. And nah, she stood taller. 6 months later, in a rain-lashed station, Greg slumped against the wall, sign in hand. Please, help. His Rolex gone. His sneer a ghost, his fingers trembling, heels clicked past, nah. Ponytail, navy coat, presence calm. She just keynoted an AI ethics summit. She paused, reached into her pocket, and dropped a coin in his palm. It glinted. The man who'd ripped her test now clutched her quarter. She met his eyes, a faint smile, then walked on. Flats tapping, silent thunder. It wasn't pity, it was justice.